Good morning. This is Jackie from South Africa with Meaningful Monday. I'm not in my garden today. It's a bit chilly outside. We had some snow in the surrounding areas this weekend, and it's really cold for this time of year during spring. So I'm fighting a cold, so I decided to sit at my desk and make my video today. So this is my family room where I am sitting in, and here everything happens from crafting, watching television, playing games, ironing, diamond dot painting, whatever. But this is where the family does their thing. And today I don't have anything really planned for chatting about. So this is just going to be a spontaneous chat about whatever. Although I read yesterday that one needs to guard your heart because it is the source of life. And that led me to a lot of thoughts and pondering and wondering. And it's actually just not an emotional or spiritual thing, it's a bodily thing also. So then I realized that we need to guard our hearts in such a way that what we eat and if we do exercise, we improve the condition of our heart. Our heart is the source of life. And also we have to guard our hearts from trauma and negative emotions and situations as far as possible. So what do we do when we experience trauma? We need to get help, and as quick as possible, because the more it lingers, the more my dog is seeking some attention, the more the trauma lingers and is untreated, and you have still nightmares or nagging thoughts or flashbacks, the more pressure it puts on your heart and on your body. And then your body reacts in the way of illnesses. So again, I want to encourage you to not let negative thoughts or trauma make your heart susceptible to being a weak heart. It can so easily happen that our heart weakens because we do not deal with daily issues or trauma or events that happen in our lives, even anger or rejection or feeling abandoned. Those emotions create a reaction in our body, and our body's reaction is to try to care for itself, but also it breaks down our immunity. So I'm not a doctor, but I've read a lot and been at a workshop about health and emotions, the connection between that, and it helped me quite a lot to understand the negativity and the impact of the negativity, what it does to my body. I actually developed fibromyalgia, and it was at such a state that I couldn't even peel potatoes. I felt useless, and I felt that I could not be a mom and cook food, or it was just too painful even to hug sometimes. And I was in this caught up in this pain for so long and never realized what it was. And at the workshop, I let go of so much pain and so much little things that I did not think would accumulate into such a powerful impact on my body and on my health. So that was such a let go, a relief. It was like going for a surgical procedure and restoring the health of your body. But then we also accumulate more incidents of trauma or negative actions and reactions. Some things we do and some things are done to us. And then again, these stuff start accumulating, and it puts us back in that position where our bodies are trying to cope with it. Some people disassociate, and some people develop multiple personalities. Some people block out everything. It's all ways our bodies were created to cope with trauma. So what can we do apart from counseling and going for therapy or going to a wellness clinic or going for sleep therapy or talking to a psychiatrist or a psychologist? What else can we do? There are plentiful things we can do that helps our body to let the pain escape. And one of those things is crocheting. It has a powerful way, and the same as with knitting, it has a powerful way of releasing bodily pain, because your thoughts are so intertwined with your project that you are busy making that you don't sit and overthink and repeat the trauma in your head or heart. You are busy with something, and in that creation that you are making, you have to concentrate on what you're doing, especially if it's a intricate pattern. So that's one of the ways that you can put your body into healing mode. Another way is to craft. Well, craft is a broad subject. We can paint, we can draw, we can or sketch, we can craft cards or journals, we can do mosaic, we can paint on rocks, we can do some sewing, we can make memory dolls, or, well, there's so much we can do. It's an endless list of things that we can craft. And you can craft in your garden. I, for instance, took an old pan and I painted a sunflower on it, and I hung it up in my garden. And I've got a cement stone table on which I always feed the birds, and I painted it one huge sunflower. So I took my crafting out of my crafting space into my garden. A friend of mine painted the stepping stones to her doorway, and she added a little message in between, and it was beautiful, and it was joyful, and it created a vibrancy of fun and being alive and being young at heart again. So this heart that we have to cherish and take care of, there's one other thing we have to remember. You are as old as what is going on in your mind. So I'm not saying revert or reverse back to being a teenager, but keep your heart young. Because if you don't keep your heart young through exercise, through positive thoughts, through learning new things, keeping your brain like, I'm looking for the correct English word now, keeping your brain active and functioning well at optimum, like completing um, uh, um, crosswords or um, Sudoku or building puzzles or working a bit with numbers. There are so many things that we can do to keep our brains and hearts young. But if we stop doing that, we age quickly and we age sadly. And then we get so dependent on others because we cannot take care of ourselves anymore, because we've lost that ability to do it. And if you don't exercise your brain, that was the word I was looking for. If you don't exercise your brain and exercise your heart to love and to be healthy and keep that well of joy full, how are you going to cope when you're 80 or 90? Some people genetically are strong and fit at that age. But sadly, my mother had so much trauma, and that trauma was not released. And she developed dementia. And she was such a health, don't want to say she was fanatically about health, but she really lived healthy, and she exercised her brain and she exercised her body, and she was into her art, and she even designed with coral draw and all that, and stuff became too much for her because she had no release of her trauma. And she was constantly reminded of her trauma because her trauma was much due to my father. So what happened is that in the end, she became lonely. She isolated after my father's death, and she was overtaken by memories, bad memories. And she never focused on her art anymore. And suddenly there came on one unfortunate day, we realized that she couldn't even use her phone anymore or a tablet. And she was way better than me with a computer. She didn't know how to craft anymore. She lost interest in everything around her, not because she wanted to, but that was the degradation that dementia brings. So I am going to ask you today to guard your heart. It's your source of life. And how you do it depends on how earnestly you feel about living life to the fullest. I'm not here to preach. I can't give you recipes. Sometimes we have to rely on our intuition to make our hearts strong and wanting to live life to the fullest. It's a want. It's a need. You have to have that desire to make life better than it seems around you. And I know it's not easy. Really, I do know. And I am looking forward to see, especially in the Facebook groups I am in, and you, my subscribers on YouTube that do watch my video, I'm looking forward to see how you keep your hearts healthy. It is wonderful to see how much participation there is in our Wild Rose Bohemian group with the challenges. Why do we call it a challenge? You've got to take a bit of extra effort to get out of that comfort zone of doing something that you can do automatically because it's so well known to you, and just do it slightly different. That bit of doing it slightly different is what you also need to keep your heart healthy, your brain healthy, and to widen or broaden your perspective on life. and to have fun with others. Fun is the main thing. And if we make mistakes, we laugh about it. We need humor in our lives. And if we do it very grandly or we do it the best we can, then we have this lovely warm feeling of, I did it. I actually did it. And that's what we need. We don't need to be hard on ourselves and say, it's not good enough. We need to be joyful. We need to be hopeful, and we need to give ourselves some slack and just enjoy the moment. Seize the moment. Have fun. And come craft with us. We invite you to our group and we invite you to our challenges. And no matter what, you don't have to have the best of tools. You don't have to have most of the tools. You can take a simple piece of paper if you can't print, and you can still participate in the challenges. You can still create something. I don't have all the tools, and neither do I desire all the tools, because the more I can do with my hands, the more creative I become. And it's fun to see what I can do without the tools, because the tools make us a bit lazy, or it makes it a bit easier. Well, there are some tools that, well, if we didn't have scissors, it would be difficult at times. So I'm not being unrealistic. But don't let not having a tool or not having a certain thing keep you away from having fun and enjoying life to the fullest. There are many ways that you can enjoy in life, that you can enjoy stuff in life. And with that, I want to say, you are special. You are loved. You are cared for. And if people around you feel they don't care for you, there's a God in heaven who really cares. You are looked after. You only have to reach out. One word, one gesture, if it feels too much. Give this heart the chance to be the real source of life. Give this heart the chance to beat with a rhythm of joy. With much love, happy crafting.